Thank you. Right, good afternoon everybody, and thank you for attending Wakefield Licence Authority Subcommittee hearing today to determine an application for the grant of a premises licence for Sizzlers, 89A Jacob Well Lane, Wakefield, WF1 3PB. We'll start with introductions. My name is Councillor Clive Tennant. I'm chair of this subcommittee and I represent Pontefract North.
My name is Councillor Sandra Pickin and I represent Emsworth Ward 7.
My name is Councillor Tracy Austin and I represent Wakefield North Ward.
I'm Paul Jakes, I'm legal advisor to the committee.
I'm Karen. Oh, go on, Dave.
David Hollis, licensing officer.
Karen Malcolm, clerk to the committee.
Councillors, would you like to introduce yourself?
Councillor Stuart Eptonstall, Ward 16.
Councillor Olivia Rowley, same ward, Wakefield East.
Councillor Rosland, Wakefield, Ward 16.
Thank you very much. Are there any declarations of interest not previously declared?
No, Chair.
No, thank you.
No.
All applications that come before the subcommittee will be treated on their own merits, and the licensing authority will take its decision based upon the merits of the application, promotion of the 4 licensing objectives, the policy of the licensing authority, copies of which are available on the council's website www.wakefield.gov.uk, and the recently revised guidance issued by the Home Office under section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003. The 4 licensing objectives are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. With that, I'll hand over to Mr. Jakes, who will outline the application.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. This is an application then that's, excuse me, it's been made by Mr. Javed on behalf of the original Sizzlers Limited in respect of premises at 83A Jacobs Well Lane, Wakefield. He's seeking an application for authorisation for late night refreshments at the premises between Sunday through to Saturday and for the hours of 11 PM to 1 AM. Full details of that application together with the operating schedule are within the licensing officer's report. In addition, West Yorkshire Police have agreed conditions with the applicant, and these have been submitted as part of an amended operating schedule and also appear in the report. 4 other persons have made representations against the application on the 4 licensing objectives, a local resident and 3 ward councillors. Obviously the ward councillors are present at the hearing today. Full details of those representations are included within the report. The options are set out at 5.3 of the licensing officer's report, and they include to grant the application with or without conditions, or to refuse the application. That's the matter before you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, Mr. Javid is unable to attend today. We've all at sight of his application, and his wishing, like I say, is to open while 1 AM for 7 nights a week. That's the matter of, you know, as I see him forward. Obviously can't answer any questions, and you know, he's not here to answer questions. But I'd like to know how long you've been running the business, and are there any complaints at present? But he's not here to answer questions. Have you any questions, Sandra, on the application?
Yeah, please, Chair. There were Dave, we said earlier, how long is it as this as premise has been open for one, or if not, when the licence last finished?
As far as the existing premises is concerned, I don't know how long they've been open. Just to clarify, they could open until 11 p.m. without the requirement for a premises license.
Right.
So far that's not come under the radar of the licensing office. There was a license held previously at this address, and if you just bear with me, I will just confirm when that was last. There was a license in situ until the 30th of November 2018, which allowed the premises to open Sunday to Thursday until midnight and on Friday and Saturday until 1 a.m.
But it's been lapsed now for coming up to 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that one. Thanks, Dave. And I'm sorry that the applicant isn't here, or the lady who lives next door. She's not come back yet, Karen?
No, she hasn't.
Well, if it's okay with you, Chair, I'd like to put some questions to councillors if they can answer for me.
Well, I'm going to we can question them when they've had the representation, Councillor Pickett.
Yeah, but I've got some questions that they might know beforehand, so I'll wait.
On the application, but if it's on the application, yes.
Yeah, it's on application. It's just that one of the questions I have got is, as it's now been running, is there an extractor fan at the back? I'm surmising there will be, but there's nothing on plan.
I think there is, yes.
Yeah, because I've got 2 fryers, so I'm surmising there'll be an extractor fan noise.
Yeah.
And the other one was times of delivery of goods and when they get the deliveries. I'm surmising they'll be open when the shop's open.
I'm not sure about that, Sandra.
Yes, it was just, they were my 3 ones that I was going to ask, because I knew the resident would be able to answer them for us quite clearly.
Yeah.
But just them 3 for my minute, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Pickett. Councillor Austin, any questions on the application?
No, I think on what Sandra was saying, I was just wondering about previous licensing and the timings that they were open, and I think Dave just answered that in terms of they were open till 11 p.m. during the week, and then was that midnight, Dave, on a weekend?
1 a.m. Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. And do we know if there were any complaints or whether there were anything coming at that time from?
I wouldn't know, to be quite honest.
No,
I could find out if you want me to.
No, it's all right. It's fine, thanks.
Right, thank you. It's been mentioned the police have agreed on the application, CCTV, etc. So with that, we've got 4 objections, all local ward councillors, and then Mrs. Julie Yates, the property next door. So would you like to speak on the objection, Councillor Rowley?
Thank you. Can I just say that in our ward, which is Wakefield East, this is the most problematic area we've got. Partly because people come out of Wakefield and go towards Stanley and beyond, but also because we just generally have an awful lot of homes that are privately rented, and generally there's antisocial activity. So we have a community group that I have to say give us quite a hard time in terms of alcohol being around, rubbish being discarded, and generally sort of life being very unpleasant for them. This building is actually situated along a row of terrace properties and right next to an old people's home that is in the process of extending its building. So we just feel that enough is enough, and that to actually extend the hours to ensure that people can have more rubbish created and cause more noise to the neighbours is just not the right thing to do. And so we urge you to consider keeping it on the current timing that it is. I'm sure Stuart and Rose would want to add to that.
Right. Councillor Lund, would you like to speak on the objection?
Thank you. Olivia's really covered the main points. It's just that the residents there have had enough, and I can't see any need for the hours to be extended. We have so much antisocial behaviour. There's a big drugs issue with out of hours drinking in the morning. It's the whole tenant of the area. The residents have had enough, and if we keep to the present hours, they can manage that. But to have them extended for no obvious reason, to their benefit, is just objectionable, and I would not like to see these hours extended.
Thank you. Councillor Epton-Stolly, have anything to add?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'd like to object to these premises having a licence to 89A Jacobswell Lane for the following reasons. The residents living in a very close proximity to this business would be subject to unwanted sound in the form of persons walking to and from the business into the early hours of the morning. This noise would be amplified by cars and the noises that are associated with cars, not just in daylight hours, but into the early hours of the morning, accessing and egressing the business. This proposed unwanted sound would directly have an impact on the residents who live in the same terrace as Sizzlers. In addition, to the rear of the business, there is a care home approximately 50 metres away, with the potential to suffer from any unwanted sound. When residents purchase their properties or started paying to a landlord, they did not expect the environment in their area being changed or to have an adverse effect on their immediate environment, including the value of their property. So the value of their property will or certainly could be decreased. Car parking is very limited to the front of this terrace, and residents wanted to use this as part of the highway in front of their properties would have difficulties finding parking spaces on returning home. Any increase in using the permitted parking areas would have a detrimental effect on the pedestrians negotiating the walkways at this end of the terrace. The immediate area around this business has a history of antisocial behaviour that includes street drinking on and around the bench provided approximately 40 metres to the east of the business. There are records of people obtaining alcohol and street drinking in this area, leaving not just their empty bottles and cans, but human waste in the Methodist church grounds approximately 50 metres to the rear. In the public passageway directly across the road from Sizzlers, there are records of these malpractices held with Wakefield Metropolitan District Council and the police. Having observed the changes in this area over the last 20 years, I would like to object to this application because of the effect it would have on the residents living in close proximity and others who it would not benefit. That's my objection, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Epton-Stolly. A general question to all three councillors: the neighbourhood police, have they been involved with antisocial behaviour in the area?
Yes, they have on a very regular basis. We've actually had a sergeant who's been here for about 3 years now, and I think that we've nagged her about the issues, and they're always out trying to resolve them. But of course it's not easy because often it's in the late evening and early morning and they're not around. But we have continuous issues and problems, and neighbours and tenants telling us what the issues are.
So it's raised at PAC meetings then? It's been raised?
Yes, several times.
Thank you. Councillor Austin, have you any questions to the three ward councillors?
No, I am actually very aware of that area, having lived in that area for a number of years. So I do understand the problems the ward councillors have just been speaking about.
Thank you. Councillor Pickin?
No, Chair, I think they've answered what I wanted to, what I had. And Stuart's just picked up about the parking for deliveries and stuff. Sometimes the parking either in front of the shop or outside.
Yeah.
And whether they take their food in through front entrance or they go the outside entrance, it's not something they can't answer for us, can they? So Oh,
I think it's fair to say, Councillor Picking, on that it's just an extremely congested area as it is.
Yeah.
People are going into the Methodist Church where there's a playgroup, there's a residential home, there's a school behind this takeaway, and then essentially all the rest of the line is still domestic housing. So it's pretty congested, to put it mildly.
and I've walked past it quite a lot when I've done my hospital visits from town to up to there, so I know that bit. My main concern is the lady next door that would have to put up with all as much as what anybody else would on block.
Thank you.
For me, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Picking. Is Mrs. Yates still in the lobby at all, or?
No, Chair, she's not reappeared.
Right, pity is that, really. Is it local residents, as councillor's probably aware, has put an objection against it, written application against it, and one of the points she raises is that actually at 1 o'clock in the morning the noise wouldn't cease there while they're cleaning down as well.
You're right.
I think that's a very fair comment as yours, Councillor Picking, about the extractor fan. That would be.
Yeah. It'll be running till gone 1 o'clock till they're cleared out.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Yes, I think that's the problem, isn't it? That sort of when you give a license till 11 o'clock, you're actually saying that's really till 12 when they clear up, and so if you give it till 12, it's 1 o'clock and so on.
Right, thank you.
I think Paul wants to come in, Chair.
Yeah, Chair, obviously the applicant's not present in the hearing. It's just really a question of the three councillors who are objecting to the application. Has there been any specific complaints about these premises, certainly trading on an evening?
No, because they're just complaints about the area generally. And we've tried to, I mean, the point is that all the public buildings that are in that area, such as Sizzlers, are all contributing to the rubbish and the litter and the general noise in the area.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Do the councillors want to summarise on the objections?
I think we've highlighted our concerns. We're very concerned about this area. We're trying to improve as much as we can. And this is just a contributory factor that we feel it would be much better if it didn't have an extension.
Can I just go in, Chair, and just say that the lives of the residents in that row of terraced houses would be sadly affected with the increase in noise and other things that disturb their environment that they live in. I think our residents deserve to be looked after, and that's why I'm objecting. Chair.
Councillor, do you wish to add anything?
No, I think Olivia and Stuart have covered it all. It is very much about the quality of life and having to cope with all of this in a very congested area. And my heart goes out to those residents and want to try and make things better. This licensing application would seem to me to make things even worse for them.
Right, thank you. Is everybody satisfied that they have said all they wish to do regarding this application?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Right, we'll make a decision in private, and we should arrive by that decision by about 2:30.
Okay.
Can you clear the lobby, please? Thank you. Right, good afternoon everybody, and welcome back to today's subcommittee hearing. We've arrived at a decision on this application and taken all representations into account. Mr. Jakes will read out that decision.
Yes, thanks, Chair. The committee's decision is as follows. In reaching its decision, the subcommittee has read all the written information that's been available, the amended application and operating schedule, written representations that have been made, and listened to the oral representations that have been made today. The committee has had regard to the Licensing Acts, and particularly the 4 licensing objectives: prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, prevention of public nuisance, and protection of children from harm, together with the Council's statement of licensing policy and the Home Office guidance under Section 182 of the Act. The subcommittee have also considered human rights issues, including protection of property, respect for private and family life, and the right to a fair hearing. I believe it has applied these rights proportionately to the information before it. The applicant has not attended the hearing today, but has provided email correspondence that implied he accepted the hearing proceeding in his absence. The premises are a hot food takeaway and currently trade until 11 p.m. without the requirement for a licence. The subcommittee have therefore considered the contents of the application and the measures to address the promotion of the licensing objectives. This would include conditions agreed with West Yorkshire Police. It is unfortunate the subcommittee were unable to obtain further details about the applicant's premises and trading activity. No other responsible authorities have made any representations. The licensing authority received 3 representations from 3 ward councillors who have attended this hearing. They have expressed concerns about the current situation in the local area and that the area where the applicant's premises are located do suffer issues with antisocial behaviour and waste and litter. In addition, the premises are in a residential area, and all 3 councillors have explained they will be concerned by any additional increase to the hours of trading from a takeaway and the impact this would inevitably have upon those residents, which include an adjacent residential property and elderly persons care home. A written representation was also submitted by the neighbouring resident, who has expressed her own concerns and the impact any increase in trading would have upon her quality of life and sleep, and the noise further trading would have in terms of noise pollution and increase in patron noise. Therefore, in considering this application for a premises licence, the subcommittee need to be satisfied that in granting a licence, the applicant will be able to ensure promotion of the licensing objectives at any hours the premises are open for late night refreshment after 11 p.m. Late night takeaways are inevitably a cause for concern and source of potential impact upon the public nuisance and crime and disorder licensing objectives when operating into the early hours. Whilst recognising the proposed steps which are included within the application to mitigate potential impact and promote the licensing objectives, and also the position of the responsible authorities, the subcommittee have also heard from the ward councillors who have specific knowledge of this area and the information in writing from an adjoining resident. The premises are currently able to trade until 11 p.m. without restriction, and whilst the subcommittee have considered the application, the proximity of these premises and the current issues in the area do, in the subcommittee's view, lead them to reach a determination that there will be an inevitable impact on the licensing objectives, particularly public nuisance, such that they are unable to grant any extension to the hours, and have therefore determined to refuse the application. The subcommittee consider this decision to be both appropriate and proportionate to the information that they've considered today. That's the decision, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Jakes, and can I thank everybody for the attendance today. That's the end of the hearing. Please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Great result.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
James, you can stop live